I know exactly what you're thinking. Our industry is special partly because it has so much potential to do what's wrong and so much potential to do what's right. Wouldn't you love to hear a story about doing what's right? How about off the charts what's right? We're interviewing a company in this episode that you will be stunned by what they do. It is fabulous, it is excellent, and you are going to love it. That's this episode of DevRadio. Hi, and welcome to the next episode of Microsoft DevRadio. Man, am I excited to talk to you on this show. You're going to love it. This is the company Avatarion, and when you see what they do, you will flip out. We've got Jean-Christophe. He's the founder and CEO. He's on the phone all the way from Switzerland. Jean-Christophe, thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Now, it's beautiful in Switzerland, as you just told me. But before we talk about Avatarion, tell me just a little bit about Jean-Christophe. Who are you before we get started?
I am a social entrepreneur. I'm working since 20 years in this branch, and I help children to have a better life, simply.
Ah, lovely. Especially sick children with like rare diseases.
Yes, it is in fact. Absolutely. Yeah,
okay,
we create
perfect.
a foundation. Yeah.
And so that's where Avatarion, you know what's beautiful, especially around entrepreneurs, is they're so passionate about certain things, and then of course the companies that they form, even the foundations that they form, come out of their passions, and that's where Avatarion comes in. And so let me set the stage, and you talk to me a little bit about Avatarion. I'm a student in school. I'm a young man. All of a sudden I'm sick with some sort of a rare disease, and I'm pulled out of school. And this is where Avatarion comes in to make that absence from school less of a negative impact so that I have the opportunity to go back and other things like that. Talk to me about what Avatarion does specifically and what's special about your technique.
Normally, what we help the student to be always, in some sense, for the regularly with his friends, with the school, to have a better comeback after 5-6 months. Normally, the children that we have in our case have cancer, and in this fact, we help this. The name is Ghost Children, to help these ghost children to be online or to be always regularly with his friends in the school in contact.
I see. And ghost children, that term is probably because once I'm kind of out of sight, I'm also out of mind, and people forget me, and I forget the connection and friendships that I have. I even may forget some of the curriculum I'm going through for the school itself. Okay, interesting. And then how do you bridge that gap?
I think the secret of this chance that we have is you see the robot now is high-tech, now is beautiful, is so pretty beautiful, and also side you have a children, they have no hair, they are sick, it look not good, and this opportunity to bring high-tech as an avatar in these sick children, to bring the power of the psychological to come back to be like an hero for the other friends in the school, because you are high tech, you are beautiful, and the other side the children forget that you are sick and you are so nice as it is. Yeah, in the fact.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. So I'm in the hospital recovering from whatever, and now you introduce a robot that is an avatar for me back in my school. So I still, somebody is sitting in my seat. It happens to be one of your robots that sits in my seat, and I can still participate in what this really is like the movie Avatar, only it's in schools.
Yes, it is Avatar. The naming is Avatar Kids, what we do here, but it is really an avatar That means you participate, you talk with other friends, you go on the recreation with the robot. That means the other children take you or bring you in the recreation with the other children, and you are part of the school. You are part of the it's some sense a therapy, you know. It's a very beautiful therapy because the best friend is looking of you in the school, and the most beautiful is that your friend don't forget you. It's not in fact to be online from the morning to evening. No, the idea is to be regularly online and to be there physically. Yeah,
I see. So I see. Perfect. So it's not important that I go to every class or every event. I'm rolling through the hallway or whatever. I just don't vanish and become a ghost. And it's a robot that's there, so all of my friends, me being sick is like the coolest thing that's ever happened in the school.
Yes, absolutely. It is like normally the children, when we come, the students are very exciting. This is why we try to bring in a therapy, that to bring the robot, the sick children in the robot as an avatar. Yeah. And we do like an experiences to learn about technology, to learn about this beautiful technology, and bring the sick children inside. And at the end, what we see that if the children don't look beautiful, the other children forget that. They see just the robot. They see like the small now. They bring the name of the sick children and bring in the robots. And what we do always with the hospital. That means the doctors decide how many times, which days, how long. Nice. Because you must imagine the children are really sick, you know, because if you have the cancer, if you have for more as 3 weeks in the hospital, that means you have a big problem. Yeah. And what is really beautiful is to bring regularly like a psychological sunny like I say, like arc-en-ciel in French. It is excuse me, I don't have that's English.
Help me just a second to understand the psychology. In your mind, who's actually being helped the most here? The friends at school who are able to see that I've been missing and still able to engage me, or also the me who's in hospital right now and I'm able to engage my friends. This is really a benefit to everybody at school, right? Because it maintains continuity, it maintains kind of a continuous friendship that may have already been established, because me going to a hospital because of a condition I have is terrible for me, but my best friend that I left behind, he's dealing with it as well, and all of a sudden we introduce this avatar that really helps bridge a gap and helps everybody deal with what really is probably a pretty bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely. What is exciting is that the children, or the small children, that means the children under 11 years or 10 years, see in this robot like an absolutely cool, high-tech, sexy avatar. And what is absolutely exciting is that the children forget totally how he look like, the children inside, or the sick child inside the robots. They forget that perhaps they have no hair, they have nothing on the head. You know, they forget that he look terrible or horrible. They just see the robots and see the beautiful, nice part. And this contrast between a sick children and high-tech products bring this avatar as a wow. Because many people tell me, oh, why you don't use Skype? I say, yes, it is a good question. Because Skype, why you don't use Skype? Because there is no exciting. It's terrible to see on Skype, just on Skype, to see in a screen, to see sick children. But if you see a sick children in a high-tech now robot, this is the name of the robot, it's a totally another opportunity. And what is beautiful is that the best friends take the robots in the recreation, and all the days they look at the best friend, you know, in the hospital to the avatar. And I think psychological is absolutely exciting. What's happened.
Okay, so talk to me just a little bit about what these robots look like. When I look at these robots, I see that they have a humanoid shape. They look like a little bit like a person, but not exactly like a person. They almost look a little bit more like a cartoon than they look like a real person. Is that a design decision?
Yes, absolutely. We work, the robot SoftBank is the robots come from Japan on the base, but the designer French are working, this is a French psychologue, and they designed a robot with a psychologue because in the future is extremely important, because if you talk about Cortana, today the digital Cortana assistant, they don't add the lookout. Is default totally, because in our digital society they need to have some representative, some avatar, some technological avatar. And I think it is what the success on this robot now is, this psychological opportunity to be cute and very sympathetic from this point of view.
We now, I think we as adults are often surprised by just what children are capable of. And you would think, if my wife were sick, replacing her but with a robot in the house would be very difficult for me. But I also don't think about it as a child, and how a new generation, they look at technology in a very different way. They don't look at it as a disconnection. They just look at it as almost a viewport into where their friend is, and they see this avatar that's there, and they really see it as, no, that's not my friend, but it's almost my friend because he's on the other side. And tell me a little bit about your field experience. So when you do this inside schools, how do students react to it?
Yeah, what we do is we do always in three steps. The first step, we bring the robots in the school without the sick children. That means the first step, the children sit together, we represent the robot, we present what we do. And as a second step is we bring the sick children in the robot, and we give the name of the robot to the name from the sick children. And this is very important. The third step, the robot sits on the place from the sick children. And in this case, what we see is the children in the school never give the name now, this is a name from the robot, they give the name of Paul or Henri or Jim, because it's a name of the sick children. And why they sit in the place on the sick children, they bring this avatar fusion between the sick children and this technology robot. What we do in the same step, we do with a tablet. That means the teacher has a tablet, and they can put some photograph on the works and send automatically to the sick children in the hospital, and they can write together. That means for the exercise or from the this paper, that's to photography, they can with a stylet write from both sides, bidirectional, and can interact together.
Let's talk about the technology around the robot for just a moment. So this can't just be a plastic shape with a camera in it. It needs to have motion. It needs to have battery, connectivity, things like that. Let's start with just connectivity. How is the little robot like this? How is it speaking back to me in the hospital?
Okay, in one side we have the robot with the internet connection, and the other side we have the child with a tablet. And what we use is a video streaming like a Skype, and what we have on top is an avatar remote. That means when I move the head from left to right, the robot moves the head left and right. If I put my hand on, the robot will put his hand on. And we use the different technology. One side like Kinect technology, the other side we use the gyroscope technology, and we use 3 different technology that we implant on this in this robot. And at the end, you have the impression this Avatar Kids is your avatar. It is a film, definitively, in fact.
Now, one of the things I've noticed is the robots that you have, even the ones sitting in your office, even when nothing is going on, from time to time, they still move just a little bit. They still have just they shift their posture just a little bit. That kind of ambient motion. Why do you have that as part of the robot behavior?
Yes, it is a part. That means there is an autonomous life is the name. That means the robot is alive. And to give you really this impression to be part of the story, and what we use is in certain connectivity. We use all the connective services from Microsoft. We are working with Azure connectivity to have always a feedback from the robot. What's going on? What are the different movement now? Is the motor as hot, or if there is some technical problem? What are the situation now? How many times we are doing video streaming, and so on and so on. And this is why what we use the Microsoft Azure connectivity.
Okay, interesting. So this is kind of where the sophistication comes in. So first of all, you have a robot sitting for me at my desk, and I can remote control that. But in all reality, I'm a young child, and I don't know how to take care of things like overheating or watching the battery and all these things. Instead, now you have telemetry that goes up into Azure. Talk to me just a little bit about what are some of the sorts of things you monitor, and what are the sorts of things you've discovered by having this sort of instrumentation in the cloud?
Yeah, it is a very important stone for us, because at this time in Switzerland we have 25 robots that are in 8 hospitals, and all the children have a cancer children, and they use daily or weekly the robot. And for us, is on the beginning it was extremely difficult when somebody have a problem. We don't know nothing. We don't know about the robot. What's the statue? What is the statue for the battery? What is the statue for the motors? It is a problem in the connection, in the telemetry. How many times they stay online? Because we have some children, they stay from 8 in the morning to 5 in the evening.
Wow.
Just so add information, they bring us our 4G hotspots down, because we have so many video streaming in HD quality. You know, if you stay 9 hours in the HD quality, and now the help from the Microsoft Azure product or connectivity services, we can see everything. We can telemetry all this stuff and all this technical stuff. And the children don't need to have some approach. It is for us internally to be always online with the robots. We all the robots.
So as a child, I'm in my hospital room, and I'm able to do anything I want with that robot. Meanwhile, you and your company is able to have almost a dashboard, be able to see every robot that's provisioned, be able to see the current status, and be able to perhaps predict things. You know, you're like, wow, this one's really had a series of events that maybe we need to go in and give it a fresh battery. Maybe we need to go in and double check some things. Or maybe the classmates are playing a joke on you. Does that ever happen? Because, I mean, I know, eventually you're going to be in a classroom full of students. What do they put stickers on it? Do they play jokes on each other still? Is it still a fun environment?
No. What I was very surprised from my point of view is I was afraid that the children from the classroom will be like a vandal, vandalism. They will do joke. No, they bring very serious attitude, because they see what's happened. They see that the child in the robots is not a joke. It's not for the joke. It's not for the pleasure. It is a help, and he help his friend to be there. And we was extremely surprised how the other children look at his friends, it was for me a very big surprise, positive surprise. That's nobody in the last 2 years when we do this job, no children do stupid attitude, with the children.
And destroy it or damage it or anything like that. That is a beautiful conclusion, actually. That is fantastic. Now, talk to me a little bit. I can't help but wonder. I want to talk a little bit more about the robot in a second, but I can't help but wonder about the end of the process. So the beginning of the process is I'm not at my desk anymore, but I've got Pepper sitting at my desk. Pepper now is called, they don't call Pepper Pepper, they call Pepper Jerry, and they talk to me and everything's great, and I'm gone for 3 months, but 3 months later, I show up again, and Pepper leaves, and I'm at my desk. Well, how do students respond to the end of the process?
Yeah, it is exciting because what we do is normally it's always like this. That's been on the beginning from the cancer, you are like each days,
Yes.
And after 1 week, we do extra just all 3 days. That's the child disappear, but that you see in some sense, and we do the same when they come back. That's mean after 3 months, 4 months, they are just 1 week, 1 time in the week, and after the next week will be 2 times in the week, and the next time 3 times, and after daily. And after, they appear as a person, not an avatar, but as a human. And I think this method is very good because we have many children. We do different experiences that they don't want to come back again in the school. After 6 months disappear because of to be afraid, what the other children think about me and look at me, and in this sense we break totally this shock, to be 1 time here, because you disappear, you never disappear, you was always there, sometimes just 1 time in the week, sometimes or 2 weeks, and I think it's very nice. Beautiful experience is what we do there.
So as a gradual experience, it just helps everybody to become acclimated to it in a more, this is a little bit less technology and a lot more psychology, right? That's really what this is more than anything. And what a beautiful thing, when a lot of people talk about technology, especially robots, when they talk about robots or artificial intelligence sometimes, it's always the overlord story. Robots are going to take over. You're like, well, you're probably not looking at it right, because there's so many opportunities to create benefit, to really help people in a tremendous way. It doesn't have to be Terminator every time. Let me ask you a couple of questions about the capabilities of these robots. If I'm laying in hospital and I want to control it, you said I can turn my head side to side and kind of see what's all around me. What else can I do? Can I raise my hand when I need to answer a question?
Yes, absolutely. You can raise your hand, you can turn your head, you can move on, you can give an emotion, because we have a tactic with the teacher and the sick children, because if they have a problem, because some children during the Skype or during the time when you are online on video streaming, it can happen that you have a problem as a sick children. And we normally, the sick children, they never do like, oh my God, I have a pain. They never act like this. And what we have a special emoticon that's they will be push the emoticon, and the robot will do some movement, and they will stop the video streaming. And that's the children and the teacher know. Now they have afraid or they have a problem, and we stop the connection.
I see.
But what is important is what we do.
As a teacher, I don't talk to it and keep thinking that somebody's listening. there's a way for me to see without that. It's more than just a red light on and off, I assume.
Yeah, it is, in fact, yes, absolutely. And if I could talk another point is what we are very positive is that the teacher with the what is the name, the doctors are always what we see with the experiences that the teacher are more near from the doctors. Because before, our experiences, when some sick children disappear from the school, the teachers say, oh, it disappeared. This is
sure.
terrible, but they forget the children. And because we have always this continuous situation that the children come again and again and again, the class and the teacher look at the sick children indirectly, it's not automatically, but indirectly, they never disappear. And I think this is the most psychological point of view that we bring in this project. That at the end, the bridge between these both children and the psychological point of view is there. Yeah.
I see. So I'm sitting at my desk with my avatar. My avatar's actually at the desk. I can raise my hand when I want to answer a question. I have a special gesture that shows that I have to step away, perhaps. I can look side to side. I can nod, I assume. What other things can I do now when I'm to kind of invoke my presence through this avatar? Can I don't know, can I pass a note to my neighbor? I mean, what can I do?
Now, what we see in different cases, that some parents take the robots at home.
Wow.
Yeah, this is we have many cases where there is some holidays and so on. They take all the robots at home, and I've seen many times that they take the robot in the kitchen, they take the robot in the evening, because not every parent can be each minute with the child in the hospital. That's mean we have not just a connection between the hospital and the school, but the hospital and at home. And we have many cases where the hospital, because for the not the boyfriend but the daughter and the sister, and they can be contact with the hospital many times and
fantastic, of course. I can still play with my brother and sister, and of course,
yes, it is in fact, absolutely.
Just because I'm sick, my outside life isn't only school. It's of course my family and things like that as well. Wow, this is absolutely fast. Tell me a little bit about these robots. Can I walk around with these robots? Roll around? What's the mobility?
Yes, you can walk around, but it's not so quick. You can walk around with the robot, but it is small. This is just 60 centimeters. Is a robot. I mean, they need some minutes to go from the kitchen to the sleeping room, and this is not exciting, I think, in this case.
That's incredible. I mean, truly, it is incredible. So here I have this robot. It's my avatar for me. It goes to school for me. It goes home for me. It does some chores, takes out the trash so I can still be part of the family. Maybe not takes out the trash. Someday it might do that, right? It can do little things like that and really keep me connected. Then when I go back, all of a sudden, I haven't been gone for 6 months. I've kind of been there, even if it's a halfway been there. Everybody remembers me in this ghost kind of scenario is what you've really gotten rid of. Wow. Let me just say one thing that is not technical. I love solutions that truly help people. Like, this is really, I mean, it's not just for children, of course, but I just love that this isn't about your company becoming a multi-billion-dollar company and finally ruling the world. I mean, even if that happened, you would be helping thousands of children along the way. I mean, it really is a genuine benefit. When you look at the child spectrum, what's the right age for this type of program?
Yes, we have from 4 to 11, 12. Yeah, it is the best age what we use at this time because of the reception from the children. And what we are working now, we are working with a new program with a real therapy, because we are working with hospital with a therapy. And now what we are working, the next step is for autism children. You understand autism?
Autism, of course.
And we use the robot for autism because we do recently different experiences with this now. You must imagine you have autistic children. If you as human, you talk with an autism child and you say, how are you today? The autism child will say, oh, they don't talk with you. Yeah. But now you must imagine you put the robot in front of the autism child and you go in another room and you speak on the robot, and the robot talk with the autism child and say, how are you today, the robot? And the child talk with the robot because and it's very exciting,
course,
this result.
Depending on where you are in the autistic spectrum, of course, it's different, but what an unlock, right? You see these children, they're locked in their minds, and all of a sudden, this avatar gives them the opportunity. It takes away a little bit of the fear, a little bit of that kind of impedance to have social interaction, and all of a sudden you have wow, I wonder how many new areas you're going to discover along the way like this.
A lot. At this time we are working definitively of four way. The first is therapy. We do with the robot really therapy, in the hospital. The second is autism. Okay. And the third is we're working with paper now, the big one, the big robots. And we do avatar with the paper, like a human inside. And what we do, the first we are fast finish, is we are working with a translator. Because in Europe, as you know, we have many foreign people that are coming in Europe.
Oh, I see.
They speak Arabian, they speak Turkish, different language. Mm-hmm. And if you go in hospital you are Arabian and you speak Arabic and you have a problem, a pain, you cannot explain because you speak just Arabic. And we use a paper with a translator inside the robot. As avatar, you have a translator, human inside, a translator on the robot. And this is what we are fast finish. I think in October this year will be finished to have a different translator in the robot live and in the streaming and as an avatar in the big robots, in the paper robots. Yeah.
Now, Jean-Christophe, let's just pretend here. I'm going to give you $1 billion so that you can take Avatarion to the next place. What's the next big step? So absolutely fantastic. But there, of course, there's got to be business opportunity. You've got to be able to pay for everything. You've got to make everything work. But if the sky was the limit, if you could really see, what do you believe will be that big next step for this sort of personal robot that you see coming? Maybe we're 10 years away, maybe we're 20 years away. I don't know. But what do you see coming down the line?
Okay, I think our next step is France, because we are working at this time to launch Avatar Kits in France, and the needs in France are like by 100, because Switzerland is a small country and we have at this time 8 hospitals with 25 stations. It's fine, we can have more, but if we see at this time in France, in Germany or US, the needs are so huge and so big. And for me, if I have money, to bring this robot in other country and to bring this avatar more as we can today, because it's just small what we do now. It's a small part of what we can do. Yeah.
All right. So I'm a parent. My child gets sick. I'm so lucky. I somehow got part of the program with Avatarion. They have an avatar that's going to go into their school with them. But in the back of my mind, I'm worried about things like security, because this is a lot of information about my child. And how do you deal with the security of this information and things like that?
Okay, first what we do is a point-to-point connection. This is not, it will be not safe, or we will not in a server, or it really is a live video streaming. It is not something point-to-point. So the second what we do is we are in an hospital to a school. You know, it's not from Avatar as a company, Avatarion as a company to a school or to the hospital. You have a point-to-point school to school to the hospital, and third, we are in a frame from the hospital. That means the doctors, the parents, the teacher. It is
Okay.
the child is sick. The child have a cancer. This is not something to be a joke or to be a game or to play with. It is something to help and to bring the sick children in the healthy way. You know, it is not. And in this
I see.
opportunity, the people forget all this matter. And because the first is we want to do something fine and nice for the child, and because this is a doctors on the top, it is not Avatarion as a company. It is a doctor that decide, yes, you can do. Not today is not possible. Yes, and it is part of the therapy. It is not just to do as a fun, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what a terrific story behind the thing, because so often when you're faced with a situation like this of somebody, a child with cancer is a great example because, you know, for us on the outside, we look at that as a situation where we have a kind of a helplessness. You know, like what can we possibly do to make that better? Well, Avatarion steps in to say there actually is a way to make this better, and you do have the ability to. You can make these kids smile. You can change their psychological experience of having to be in the hospital. It really is a fantastic thing all the way through. So you engaged with Microsoft. This was a 3-day hack fest that you kind of got to engage in a big way to see IoT Hub and Stream Analytics, to be able to create this kind of, I don't know, a pilot seat sort of dashboard where Avatarion can see all the devices from a technical side to make sure that you can start to create a system now that can predict a little bit when things need to be replaced, so you can send and go take care of the technical details, because you want to take care of those technical details quickly and transparently, because what you don't want everybody to see is, you know, my avatar run out of battery, right? That kind of breaks the illusion that you're creating. You want them to see that the avatar just keeps on going, and sure, you might show up and for an hour the avatar goes away, comes back and with fresh batteries, but nobody really knows what's going on. It helps create and maintain that psychological value of having an avatar there anyway. What was the experience? What was your experience with Azure in general? What did you think it was going to be like when you went in, and what was your output? What did you really think?
It's definitely what I must tell you. We were so surprised how quick, how simple, because we receive an half days for the scientist. You know, there is a technical word. What is Microsoft? The name are not a scientist. You have evangelist, technical evangelist. Excuse me. There is the technical evangelist give us an half days to my people experiences, and after 2 days we was finished, and we have all the stuff. For me, it was my people come back after 2 days, say, you know, are finished. Say it's a shock. Yeah, we are finished. Look, all the telemetry, and what was very, very exciting from the Microsoft Azure. And for Microsoft, I was extremely surprised how simple to implant all the stuff of these connective services in our robots, in our technical stuff. It was extremely simple and secure and ready and stable. Yeah, it's really, this is our experience. Wow, it's very cool.
Very cool. Wow. You know what? I've asked so many companies that same question, and I get the exact same answer almost every time, where their expectation is, I don't know, and then the real experience is, wow, that was fast, you know. And it's funny, I think we could be honest with each other. Yeah, it's fast. There's more work to be done, but we can prove that it can be done so quickly, and we can see benefits so fast. And I know, of course, you use IoT Hub, you use Stream Analytics, a little bit of Power BI on the back end, and you're starting to dabble now a little bit with machine learning with all this data as well.
Yeah, this is what the next step in the machine learning or the AI, what we are working on at this time. It will be for us the next step, what we are developing with Microsoft. What we are using is, in the future, we want to work with HoloLens. We have some experiences last 15 days. We do with your evangelist or the technical evangelist from Microsoft, and we test the HoloLens in the way from Avatar. And to augment the situation that's been as Avatar, remote control in the fact, and you must wait some hours and days. We are not finished at this time. I cannot tell you what will be the result, but at this time is very on development, definitively.
I can only imagine, and how fantastic that is. I can only imagine where you're headed with that. In my mind, I'm dreaming up all kinds of incredible scenarios. It's terrific. We'll have to follow back up and see what happens to Avatarion in a year, just to see all of the things and opportunities to unlock. Meanwhile, it sounds like your next steps, is to grow and to find yourself in more, perhaps to find yourself with more avatars in the existing hospitals that you already serve, but also perhaps to grow and find more hospitals that you can be part of as well.
Absolutely. I think to bring Avatar in other country, to bring Avatar worldwide, because the system is now able to be like a global, yes. And now I must find the found to be foundation to be able to help us to finance all these Avatar for all these different hospitals, first in France and after to the other country. It would be beautiful.
Well, now there's no question about it. Of course, we have so many developers that watch this show, but anybody that's watching the show might say in their mind right now, wow, Avatarion is amazing. I want to know more about the foundation. Where do you send people to learn a little bit about this foundation? Maybe they could be a part of it somehow, or just learn more about. Where do you send them?
Yeah, we have a foundation. The name is Science City, Science City. Okay. And you can go on sciencecity.ch. It is our foundation, what we do, and to found all this money that we put for the avatars. And the next, what we must do absolutely is the crowdfunding, because we have no time until today to do that. But it will be beautiful to do that and do like a crowdfunding. But the experiences default me, because at this time I work with a normal in the Swiss Opportunity Foundation. It was simple. But now because we want to go globally, we must go in the electronic way, not so as just hard way. Yeah.
Well, Jean-Christophe, I'll make sure all those links are in the description of this show. Everybody can get exactly what they are, so they can investigate on their own. Here's Avatarion helping sick children remain connected even though they would be otherwise disconnected because they're going through treatment, they're in hospital, they're somehow away from their normal friendship circles, away from their school, away from even their family sometimes. It's a beautiful mission and terrific solution with these different robots that stand in as avatars that allow me to still have a presence and also to be able to see what's going on and not feel totally disconnected as well. Jean-Christophe, thank you. Thank you for being on the show today and talking to us about Avatarion.
I thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you that you take your time. Thank you.